Live from Radio Row at Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. This is Roy Kessel with Sports Philanthropy Network. And today, very excited to have with us special guest Dr. Nicole Roberts. Nicole, thank you for being here. Welcome to the show. I know we do this every year as a precursor to the Brain Health Summit at Leigh's party. So excited to hear what you have on tap for us this year.
We have a lot this year, actually. The Steinberg party, the stage is full from open to close, noon to 6. We have multiple panels on brain health, mental health. Our theme this year is resiliency. And so we're exploring all the ways we as humans can be resilient mentally, physically, emotionally, even environmentally. So we're in San Francisco. So we have 6 hours of programming tomorrow.
So it's going to be a busy day. I know you work throughout the year to identify interesting topics and amazing speakers. So take us through some of you said that there's panels all throughout the event. So I know you have this down to a science and have got everybody lined up. So we've had a chance to talk to some of the guests, but tell us what the schedule looks like.
Well, the first panel is the one that always excites me the most. It's sort of an homage to all the things Leigh has done over the years. So I moderate the opening session, and Leigh Steinberg sits on that panel at his party. We have Warren Moon and several other individuals who represent the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, the Steele Family Foundation, and other organizations who are doing real community work, as well as Hoag Healthcare System, who has neuroscientists on the panel to talk about, how our brain is wired, the things we do and don't do, and we bring it all together. Tomorrow's theme, as I said, is resiliency. So it's to have a discussion about how to be more resilient as a human, how to persevere through hard times. And it coincides perfectly with Leigh's book coming out, The Comeback. So it was just a perfect year to focus on resilience.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Leigh yesterday and saw a copy of the book, and obviously Leigh's done an amazing job in his own personal comeback. And we see so often in sports that athletes have a physical injury and then they're able to come back from that, but we often don't talk about the mental side of it.
Yeah, that's one reason I was so excited for Warren Moon to agree to be on the panel. Warren has an incredible story about resilience through his life, not only his personal life, growing up with, I think, 6 brothers and sisters and only a mom who, took care of everyone, but then not being, drafted into the Canadian Football League. Like, there are things throughout his career, but there's also the home life. And so he's an excellent person to have on the panel to really compare the personal and professional experience through the athletic lens.
Yeah, and I think Warren's story, as you said, when you follow it from University of Washington up to the CFL and not being given an opportunity to play in the NFL due to your skin color, it's really absurd when you look at the numbers he did put up in the NFL when he was finally sort of allowed back into the league and somebody gave him that chance. It's crazy to see where that has really changed, right? When you look around the league, but so many players deal with invisible demons, right? Whether that's a brain injury, whether that's an addiction, whether that's any other form of mental health.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who come to the party as well, just in the audience, not even on the stage speaking, who have gone through and are going through. So, for example, we have the family from the defensive line. Solomon Thomas, who currently plays for the Dallas Cowboys, he lost his sister to suicide a number of years back, and I think it was his rookie season. And the stories he tells about the things he was dealing with personally while having to go perform, at this level of excellence that most of us can't understand, and the toll on his family, and so to have them in the audience and there to just be a part and to absorb and to give is what makes this so incredible. It's not only a party, it's very intentional about digging into the host city, the theme, things that Leigh's passionate about, and making it literally the embodiment of the party.
Well, I think one of the things that's incredible when we look at that event, right, the difference, the enormous number of people that are there. There's great diversity in terms of level of professional accomplishment, both on and off the field, in terms of where people are in their careers and what they've accomplished. But you talked about Solomon Thomas. Defensive line has been part of some of our programs, and you look at the amazing strength, right? And the ability to compartmentalize what's going on in the world, right? So we're standing here on Radio Row, everything looks great. Nobody knows what's sort of behind the screen in our lives, right?
Chaos.
And what we're dealing with. And it's interesting because we know that for the people that we're close to, but when you watch an athlete perform, or when you watch somebody perform their profession or trade, we don't know what's going on in their world. We don't know what happens when they, you know, turn off the lights and go home.
Absolutely. We all compartmentalize in our own ways. Some are better than others. And what we choose to compartmentalize is different from person to person. And I mean, even now, as you know, I just had a very long flight with a toddler. I'm trying to leave that out there. But I feel it. My husband feels it. But you know, I'm here to do this and give all of myself to the Steinberg Party and to the Brain Health Summit and everyone on stage tomorrow, the humanitarian award winners. And so, you know, you turn things on and off, and especially in the professional athlete world, it doesn't matter the sport. That mindset you have to be in is really, you know, it is soul focused. And so everything else has to get shut off. But it also means you often don't address the things that should be.
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting is, like you said, you're putting together this event, you're putting together this panel, and then now you're looking at what happens going forward, right? So after the party starts, you kind of rewind, you reset, you're getting ready for Los Angeles Super Bowl event next year.
For better or worse, we are. Next year is, and I'm sure Leigh mentioned it, next year is his 40th annual Steinberg Super Bowl party. So it's going to be big. And it's in LA, which is home for him. And we just did LA a few years ago. And so we already know the venue. We already know the main sponsor because it's our sponsor this year, Hope, which is awesome to have not only a healthcare system as a sponsor, but a multi-year contract. So we know them well. They know us well. I hope that makes LA a little easier. But yes, to your point, like, we are already having conversations about LA. And this is not what I do for a living.
So tell everybody what you're focused on now. What's Nicole involved with?
Well, I'm a doctor of public health. My background's in neuroscience. So I run a small human rights firm, and then I advise a lot on what impact investing really looks like in the healthcare space. So it is public health, it is philanthropy, and it's how do you combine things. I wrote a book on generosity, and really it's that, is how do we be generous with ourselves, our time, our energy, our knowledge, and it could be our resources, right? Our financial resources. And so how do you reinvest into people and places and things to make the world better and healthier?
Well, and again, you've always lived with such generosity. For those that had not met Nicole previously, she and I first connected at a concussion summit at the United Nations, probably at the 2010 Super Bowl in New York. That's probably about the first time, and
Ages me, but yeah.
just a couple years ago, and so it's incredible to see the growth of the work that she's been involved with and the scale that she's been able to develop out of the Brain Health Summit that started as really just a small individual discussion with a couple of
Yeah,
people
that's right.
for about 30 minutes leading into the event. And probably, I think at that first event, if I remember correctly, it was like smaller than the scale of some of these booths at Radio Row that are all built out.
It's very embarrassing, but yes, it's true.
And, you know, now you look at what it's been.
Well, you said 15. I got stuck on the number 15. But this is the 13th annual Brain Health Summit, the official one with the Steinberg Party. So, yes, there were a couple before that. So, yeah, that makes sense. And you're right. And even the first couple Steinberg, right, we had people, but it was an hour. It was different then. It was the opening hour. But by opening hour, I mean it was the hour before the Steinberg Party started. And so it had to be people who were just so interested in brain health. And we were very concussion focused at that point. They wanted to come. So we had like a handful of neurologists, retired players. And now we are fully embedded into the party. But again, that's why I say the opening panel, Leigh and I both sit on. So we want to honor what it used to be as well. And that one is a bit more academic. But now it's 13 years to be an overnight success.
Well, Nicole, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Radio Row at Super Bowl 60
Thank you.
live in San Francisco. This is Roy Kessel signing off for Sports Philanthropy Network. Please remember to live generously.